Hello and welcome to the studio. Today I'd like to answer a question that I get from many drivers who are new to high-performance driving and racing. Why is it so hard to learn the racing line? I mean, copying somebody's racing line should be simple, right? All you have to do is to go on YouTube, watch some onboard videos from experienced drivers, and copy what they do exactly, right? Or better yet, fire up your favorite racing game, turn on the line assist, and just memorize the path that the green arrows take you. Well, as many of you know, this is easier said than done. As it turns out, it's pretty difficult to remember exactly where the racing line goes through an entire lap of a racetrack. It's just a lot of information to memorize. And even if you do somehow manage to remember it all, you'll find that it's almost impossible to drive the car on the exact same line once you're actually behind the wheel. Even the racing line assist in your favorite game doesn't seem to help you learn anything. When it's turned on, you feel like you know the track like the back of your hand, but as soon as you shut it off, you feel lost. So what's going on? How do people do it? Well, I'll let you in on a little secret. Experienced drivers don't actually memorize the racing line. Instead, they drive using a series of reference points that I like to call racing points. No, not that racing point. I'm talking about the imaginary reference points that we call names like the turn-in, apex, and track-out points of each corner. Instead of memorizing the racing line, experienced drivers memorize where these points are on track and use them to figure out where to place the car when we're behind the wheel. If you were to visualize these racing points in a video game style overlay, this is what they would look like. And here's how we use them when we're driving on a track in real life. So we're coming up to the first corner, a high-speed uphill right-hander. The first racing point we're looking out for is the braking point. In this case, it's right next to this number 3 board here. Now as we get closer to this braking point, we start looking out for our next racing point, the turn-in point. And that's right here, next to the number 1 board. Okay, so we're at our braking point, we are hard on the brakes, slowing the car down just enough so that we can get it turned in. And as we get closer, we start looking towards our next point, the apex. Now we're going to keep the turn-in point in our peripheral vision as we shift our focus towards the apex. It's a few short moments later, we see that the car is in the turn-in point in our peripheral vision, so we're going to start to turn in and guide the car towards the apex. And right about here, the car is settled. We know we're going to hit the apex, so we're going to start rolling onto the throttle and let the car track out towards the last point in this corner, the track out or corner exit point. That's how experienced drivers and racers remember how to drive the perfect racing line around a racetrack. They drive from point to point to point. The racing line is just the trail that the car leaves as they follow these racing points. This is exactly why it's so hard to copy somebody else's racing line. Their line is the end result of them knowing which points to hit and how. Trying to copy somebody else's racing line is like trying to create these muffins from this stock photo. Even if you manage to make something that sort of resembles the original, you're never going to be able to recreate the same taste without the recipe. So how do you do it then? How do you copy somebody else's racing line? Fortunately, it is possible to copy a racing line from other people's in-car videos or from the racing line assist in your favorite video game. You just need to know where to look. Instead of trying to memorize what path the car takes as it goes around the track, you want to look for the racing points that they hit when they drive through the corners. Look closely at the driver's outside front wheel when he turns into this corner. That's his turn-in point. Then watch him as he hits the inside curb in the middle. That's his apex. Then look at where his car ends up as it tracks out at the exit of the turn. That's his exit point. Watch closely and try to memorize where these points are on all the corners. Now when you get out on track, practice driving through each of these points, hitting them as consistently as you can. Once you're comfortable doing that, increase your speed a little bit and try it again. As you start driving faster and faster, you may find yourself having to move some of these points a little so it feels more natural for you and for your car. That's a good thing. Let it happen. The important thing is that you drive smoothly and in a controlled manner so you can hit these points consistently, lap after lap after lap. If you feel yourself jerking on the wheel or slamming on the brakes to hit your points, back off and slow down a little bit. You're either trying to go too fast or you need to move your racing points a little so you can drive through the corner smoothly. And that's it. Before you know it, you'll be able to drive a fast racing line around your favorite racetrack. That's all I have for you today. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you at the track.